You know what time it is. It's Wednesday. We've got another film room on tap. We are going to dive into Jaylon Moore, the newly acquired left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, previously of the San Francisco 49ers. There's a lot of intrigue with this player, a lot of inexperience, only 4 starts to his name last year in place of Trent Williams. But you guys saw the pressure rates if you watched Ryan's video yesterday. In comparison to what we saw last year in Kansas City, he would be among the top 3. So, like I said, intrigue in pass protection. We're going to talk about the run game, what he's going to bring as a pass protector, and yes, where there's going to be some question marks, because that's what the Chiefs do. They bring in players and they project them getting better and better. So that's what we are here to do today. Let's go ahead and tap in. Welcome into RJR, everybody. My name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst here. And if you are new to the channel, before we dive in, please hit that sub button, follow along as we get into the tape, and then allow me to earn a like from you guys. Hopefully you'll learn something new as we get into the tape. So let's go ahead without any further ado and dive in, because what we see from this guy right here is a very specific skill set. I think overall Jaylon Moore at left tackle is definitely somebody of intrigue to be watchful for. Oh, there's the pen. We got him. We're in. We got the markings to go. But what I like about him is that I think we might be able to get back to the real roots of what Andy Reid wants to do. Run that outside zone. Get guys really pressing out to right there. He's able to really get off the mark right there, off the snap, and get around and hook this defensive end. That's what you want to see from specifically, anywhere on the field, but inside the, the 10-yard line, you want them to be able to get off the ball and get that block. So really nice job here. Again, this is just going to be a little bit of a pitch to their running back. He's going to funnel out, lead block from the fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, who is newly on the free agent market. I know Ryan's happy about that. I would like to see him. What I like again here is that little explosion, right? Explosion to the left. He gets out and he's able to reach inside right there, hands on the shoulder pads, a little bit high, but you want to see, the workaround really. It's just about not allowing him to get free upfield, his lateral side. So what this whole run game in Kansas City did last year is between the tackles. They couldn't really run the ball to the outside, but they did try at times with their pitches. They tried to get pitch outside. They just couldn't get anybody really moving in that direction. I know Kingsley is a good athlete. I know Wanya is a pretty good athlete. Joe is not the best athlete at tackle. The problem was more so the hand technique and the usage. So one thing that I really appreciate about Moore is that his hands in pass and in the run game are pretty good. And they do a nice job of running split zone right here inside that on the 5-yard line for a touchdown. But what I want to really just focus on is that he's moving one way. So you're giving the running back a lane to move, to run off of, right? As a backside blocker, I believe he's probably one of the best I've seen when we've scouted guys coming into Kansas City, or, with Kingsley, Wanya Morris, even Joe Thuney to an extent. Backside blocking is very important. And obviously you have to be able to block down. So you've got split zone right here, which means Kyle Juszczyk's coming across. And the run intention is this way with the offensive line, right? But when you see the down blocks from your offensive line, you're able to really get off that right there. So Juszczyk comes around, boom, you get down blocks from the wide receiver too. Chris Conley blocks down. You have a nice little wall right here because you've created that with your down blocks, and then you have the split zone block from the fullback right there, and you get Garendo an easy touchdown. So Moore coming in will just fit like a glove to what they want to do. Now, we've talked about how they want to present an improvement state, right? The Chiefs bring in players with the idea that they will get better. Now, this is the first time that Moore has ever ventured into free agency, and the contract that he did get, it's basically going to be $20 million guaranteed no matter what, right? He's going to be accounted for it against the cap this year in 2025 and 2026 going forward. So the one thing that I think you're probably going to find with his game is that he's not the most powerful at the point of attack player. He does have a tendency to pop up, right here. He's more popped right up. Instead of being down in that hip down stance. We talk about pad level, right? Pad level is generated by your hips. If your hips come up, guess where your pads go? They come up as well. So he's trying to make contact with the defensive end. Guys like the Rams have in Jared Verse and Byron Young, all of those powerful defensive ends. And when you're not able to really get underneath them and physically move them, you're going to have problems right there. So he doesn't get any vertical push at all. The running back is trying to make something happen, but he runs into the back of Jaylon Moore. This is more like wind back, I think, to be honest with you. I don't know the exact name of the play, but it looks like what would be called wind back. So you have block right here to the defensive end, and then you also have the guard and the center try to double here. On the opposite side, you've got blocks, down block here, but watch the fullback. He's going to lead block this way and come back around the quarterback, leading towards the right. So why I think it would be a wind back play or a misdirection type play. So you have all of that. Then you have a missed block by the guard on the right-hand side. So now the fullback has to take 90 and where there's no place to go. So even with Moore being pushed into the backfield, this play was dead from the start, but it's more about that point of attack power. And he does allow defensive ends into his chest in the run game and the pass game, specifically because of that pad level. It's hard to counter in pass protection because you are, coming backward on your heels a little bit to an extent there. So overall, I just think that as a run blocker, he fits exactly what the Chiefs are looking for because he does run the zone stuff very well. He's very good on the backside, like I've talked about. And this is another really good example of being on the backside of a play because he's going to come out right here and do it. Sorry, this is not backside. My apologies. He's going front side here. This is the problem. I have my notes all mixed up. So right here, you have this play side block, right? So the stretch to the outside. Running backs coming down this way. Boom. You've got double team here. It's supposed to be a double team from tight end and the left tackle and Moore. But he's unable to really get out there, right? This is where the 33 and 3/8 inch arms come in. So with the combine, he measured in 6'4", 311 pounds, and 33 and 3/8 inch arms. I don't care about arm length that's above 33. Personally, I think it's perfectly okay as long as you can mitigate it with hand usage and your footwork. So right here, you do see it come into play where he cannot reach the defensive end. He can't actually use his length to stay attached to him. And instead, the defensive end is using his length right there, you see, to stay on that outside, set the edge, and make sure he's free to go after the running back. So when we talk about how your arm length actually impacts you as a run blocker and a pass protector, this is part of the reason why. To be able to establish as a play side blocker down, you need to be able to get out there, use your own length to take control of the situation. Am I saying this is an easy block? No. 82 needs to do a better job of also helping him, but he doesn't. So all in all, right, you need to see a better attempt from 82, but when we see the footwork in coordination with the arms, you have a down, everyone else is down blocking here. So Moore's got to get out. He's got to use his feet to get out and around to really take established of this defensive end to get out there, especially with 82 not doing a great job. Because you get this down block from number 78. He's going to the next level too. So you really want to work your way around. And because of his inability to get out there and really let the defensive end get into his own chest because he can't establish with his arms first, that's the problem right there. He tries to. Arms go outside a little bit. If he could have used his left hand right here, left hand, get inside, jar him back, and then work his legs around, this would have been a far easier block for him to make. But because of that arm length, a guy like Montez Sweat with longer arms can get in there and really make things a problem. So two things to really focus on as a run blocker. Some of the things you're going to see specifically in the AFC West with the defensive ends that they have length, they have power. Being able to displace those guys vertically or even laterally isn't always going to be his best outcome. He's not going to have the best outcomes in those situations. So a lot of what we have seen over the course of the last 5 years, 6 years with Patrick Mahomes, longer at the helm with their offensive tackles. But like I said, I want to get back to him as a backside blocker, because I really do appreciate what they do. And if they're going to run outside zone to Juwan Taylor's side, to the right side, and create some cutback lanes, I really do appreciate what Moore is going to bring, because he does not give up on backside plays. Sometimes you see guys, they're on the backside of the block. They don't really care so much. They don't give all the effort that they could. I do appreciate what he does right here with this down block. He gets a little bit of help from the tight end there and and George Kittle, but he takes over and he takes Epinesa down the field. So again, you've got this outside zone. They're going to their own right here. So everyone's down block, down block, down block. Everyone's down blocking. So he takes control initially right there. Epinesa is going to try to lift him up. You see he's got hands lifting as he comes through. Eyes in the backfield, right? You see right there, Epinesa is going to get his eyes on the running back, knows that it's outside zone. So you get a little bit of help here from Kittle, who's going to push down. And that's where you see create the cutback lane for the running back, make his job easier. And they do a nice job right there. Then Kittle gets up to 58 and really allows this play to what probably could have been better had it not been so snowy outside in Buffalo. But I like the backside block. So when you're able to create some lanes like that, and again, he pushes them all the way out. So we have a guy who's going to create some situations in the run game helpful for the Chiefs. I think he's going to raise their run floor, specifically because he's got some really good experience playing in that system. He's going to bring that with him. So as the floor of a run game has to be there, right? The Chiefs were unable to run the football. I think that he gives you more access to outside zone on the left-hand side. Granted, they're going to have two new players at left tackle on the left side, left guard, left tackle. So they're going to have to get some comfort there. But it's assuming this is Juwan Taylor on the right side, not Juwan Taylor, assuming this is Kingsley Suamataia at left guard with Moore, that's a pretty athletic run blocking unit. You can pull Kingsley to the left. You can do a lot of things with him. So I'm actually kind of optimistic about how they can run the football to the left-hand side with those two players there. Power at the point of attack, maybe not their game, but the zone game will take up a notch, I think. So I'm excited to see what they do there. And from right here, we're going to talk now about our new partner. We're bringing back the guys over at Underdog. And you guys, you don't have to be an expert to play. You don't have to. What I like about this so much is that I literally do this every single day. And I don't know anything about the NBA. I don't. But what I like to do, one of the things that I also like to focus on here is that you play often enough, they give you discounts, gimme picks, things like that. So right here, you can add a gimme pick. It's something that they just, put at a point higher than a 0.5 usually. So you get that almost all automatic. And I like to stick in the popular player section. I don't know much about the NBA, but I like to think I know something. So I like to look at trends, right? We look at Nikola Jokic. He's got over the past 5 games, 35, 24, 31 points, and he's going to play against Minnesota. Should be a pretty good game. Minnesota's a good team, and you like guys like Anthony Edwards. And I think that just in retrospect, he played a back-to-back against the OKC, the Oklahoma City Thunder, a few days ago. So he's off of a day of rest in a game where you're going to need your best player to show up. I think that's where you're going to see him. Also, I like the higher on his number specifically. Like I said, you guys can follow me along if you want to. You see something better you like, go ahead and put it. Just make sure you're using the code RGR to sign up because you're going to get up to $1,000 bonus cash on that. You deposit $1,000, they deposit $1,000. You have $2,000 to play with on here in these pick'ems. It's so much fun. I like sweating it out. Like I don't watch a ton of NBA, but it's a lot of fun to watch these things go through. So another player that I always like to go through is Jason Tatum. Again, I like the popular players. From time to time, I'll get lower on the depth chart. But again, I like to look at the trends. I like to look at the scores, things that he's done. He didn't play against Utah. Now, he is questionable against the Thunder. I expect him to play in this game because it's one of the best teams in the NBA. And I think that you're going to need a lot of points to score to be able to beat that kind of team. So again, the good thing, another good thing about this is if he doesn't play, it just gets taken off your pick'em slip. So it's not affected you at all. The rest of the players can still get their highs or their lowers, and it won't impact you at all. So that's always fun to see. I like the higher on Jason Tatum in a game against Oklahoma City where you could see him score a lot of points. And again, that trend where he's scoring over 30 against some of these really good teams is there as well. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the best, if not the best player in the NBA right now. Again, in a game where you probably see he has to score a lot of points. And if we check his trends as well, outside of the back-to-back here against Denver, 40, 41, 50. And then, coming off of a 25-point performance, again, I like the hires, sue me, but it's that simple. And I'm actually going to do it right now. I like to stick in the 10 range myself. That's what I like to do, but that's just me. You guys, it's that simple. And make sure you guys are signing up with the code RGR to get that $1,000 bonus cash deposit with your $1,000 up to. You don't have to put 1,000. I'm not saying you have to. 50, you get 50. You put 100 in, they give you 100. It's a lot of fun. Please go make sure you check that out and use that code RGR to sign up as we dive back into the Jaylon Moore tape. So, pass protection is the next stop for us on our trip here. This is really what the focus is going to be on Jaylon Moore coming into Kansas City, because all we remember from last season are the issues in pass protection that were. So right here, I'm going to start you guys off by letting you know he did not face almost any speed rushers at all. One of the big issues the Chiefs had last year was speed off the edge. That still remains to be seen if it's going to be a huge issue for Jaylon Moore. But what I can tell you is that he absorbs power pretty well. You see how he was just thrown back initially by that initial power from Jared Verse. So let's get to the end zone view and really see what we're looking at here. So one of the things I will also note is he's more of a lateral mover. His first step is not always backward. It's most of the time it's to the left. So you see him try to get wide that way. You see there's that lateral step. He has a very wide base. That can be a problem, specifically against speed rushers around the edge, okay? I'm just letting you know. This can be a problem with a wide base. Now, the reason it could be a problem is because if your feet are too wide and you have a speed guy coming off the edge, how are your feet going backward? Instead, they're going to have to recorrect themselves, and it takes even more effort to correct your feet to get them a little bit more narrow to move backwards. So he might have to change his stance, the way he drops into his sets off the edge if he's facing more speed guys. But right here, you see that first step is very lateral. It's direct. Also, they have help right here, right? So he knows he's not going to have to worry too much about this. So again, he can step right at the defensive end. So there's that initial push from Jared Verse. Boom, he flies back. He gets his feet under him, reestablishes, moves laterally, okay? So he didn't panic. He got his hands back on Verse, and he's going to start moving laterally, okay? Feet keeps under him right there, moves with him. He moves back that way, and he stays connected with Verse. That's another thing that I really do appreciate. He might not be the best footwork player, and he has kind of slow feet at times, but what I appreciate are the hands. The hands are consistent. They're always looking to course correct, always looking to reconnect, reestablish. That's one thing you want to see from tackles is when they get blown back, when they get beat, if they're pushed off, where do their hands go? If they get swiped down, if they get chopped, if they get ripped, where are their hands going? Are they staying still? If they're staying still, you're going to get holding penalties. Why doesn't he get a lot of penalties? He's always looking to recorrect his hands, and I really do appreciate that in his game a lot. So he played against the Rams twice, more so this game specifically at home against the Rams. So, you know, like I talked about, and then we talk about his hands, right? He angles back and he's going to take that stab with his chest to the outside, with his outside hand, right? So there's that left hand, boom. It's not always a two-hand jab. Sometimes he will go to the two-hand, but right now you see that left hand go out. That's a very consistent trend as well. So he times that outside foot, that drop right here, with his left hand stab while keeping his inside hand free for now, okay? The inside hand comes to help when he starts to reconnect to the outside. So there it is, boom. There it is. Look, this is what I'm talking about. How quickly is he moving his hand around? So he goes right hand out. That left hand from Byron Young swipes his hand away a little bit right there. You see that? Comes out. And then this is where you see the hand from Moore come back around. So he reconnects that. I really do appreciate his hand usage. It's one of the most important things, in my opinion, about the fundamentals of playing tackle. How are you using your hands? And if you're not using them correctly or consistently, you're going to be taken advantage of. We can work with the footwork, hand usage, and reconnecting. Keeping yourself in between the defensive end and the quarterback is very important. So this ability right here, while you see Byron Young try to use that long arm and lean into him, he just kind of absorbs that power, reconnects his hands, and he's good to go. So those are two very important things. That first clip where you see him, reestablish himself, collect that power, and then move laterally with Jared Verse, that's good. And then you see the hands, okay? Stabs with that outside hand, matches it with his outside foot so he can create some power in his lower half, absorb that power, and then takes the right hand and reestablishes underneath. So the hand usage matched up with that initial lateral foot and then back to absorb power is all very good. So this is where the problems come in for Moore. I'm concerned about speed around the edge because Jared Verse, he's explosive, he's powerful. I wouldn't say he wins based purely off of speed. You guys saw him bully tackles all year long. He does have speed. He can win with speed. But what you see here is the footwork with the stab right there. Okay. His foot it comes back late, right? He is out here initially with that stab. So his foot's not back far enough yet when he's going to stab with his inside hand or the outside hand, excuse me. So now he's trying to recreate that step. So he's taking it back, and now you see where the problem lies. All right. This foot's now too narrow. We have too narrow of a base, and it creates a soft shoulder. Thank you very much. The pole in the way. I can't really show you what I'm trying to show you, but this is what I mean. You can see his shoulders turning, right? But because his feet are too narrow, he has what we call a soft shoulder because he doesn't have enough base underneath him down low to his left to get there, to get to his spot. So Verse is now, obviously the ball comes out. That's not the point. We want to talk about why he loses, when he loses, and why. I understand the ball comes out. That's not the point. This is the point. Okay. Again, if we have speed rushers, what's gonna help them is the soft shoulder, creating a soft shoulder. And then there's that wide base to start. Very wide. He goes out first. Hand carriage is pretty good. Then he's getting to his back. He doesn't necessarily time it as well. And then he moves that foot back and creates a narrow base where he's trying to now and keep himself in front of Jared Verse. So footwork doesn't move as fast as you want it to sometimes, and he willingly creates a soft shoulder at times as well, which can all come back to haunt any really good pass right here. I think I may have said Montez Sweat earlier talking about, but I've seen people suggest that he just doesn't lose very often, and that's not my opinion. When I watched his tape, you just didn't see pressures created often, but he lost in the same way very towards Montez Sweat, but you notice where he is, right? He's a little bit more wide. He's looking to create that angle, right? So we can corner and get to Brock Purdy. Better angle, better power, speed to power usage. So there it is. There's that extra step. Hands are down. Not bad, not bad. Hand inside the chest. But this is also where that length comes through, right? Boom. He can't stay connected. He can get benched pressed too, okay? He can get pressed back. One of my other problems with him, even though I really like his hands, too often he's trying to push. That's a no-go for me. For a guy who wants to push back, you're creating space for the defensive end and too much disadvantage for you. So if you're trying to basically bench press and push guys off and create more space, you're going to lose too often. And this is exactly what you see right there. Now, he does step on the ankle. That he does. That is a problem here, creates that problem. But overall, you could already see the networking through this. Montez Sweat was bench pressing backward, and he was going to bend him backward as well. So, and that's another part where that length comes in. So just need to clean up some of that, and I think that he can be okay. I'm worried about the soft shoulder. I'll be honest. I'm a little worried about the soft shoulder with his footwork. It's not naturally very quick. So now Byron Young tries to bend the edge this time, kind of bend down and around. This is what I really like. So he tries to cross chop, right? So here comes that cross chop. You're going to chop that hand down. But when you can just kind of take your hands away and then how he's able to do something like this, it connects. Being able to go from left hand out, swipe down to relocate both hands on the shoulder pad is a very important tool for offensive tackles. You're going to lose. You just are. It's a good move by Byron Young. He tries to come down, kind of bend around and corner. See, we talk about ankle flexion. This is part where ankle flexion comes in handy for defensive ends trying to really get around here. You would think that he loses this rep, right? You think he would lose at this point. Dang it, keep doing that. You think he would lose it, but right here, one, you get quarterback move up in the better pass rushers where the Chiefs will have to play against in the AFC West. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. This is a cautionary tale as much as it is, showing you what he can do. But this is another part of the process for the Chiefs. They are projecting improvement. And now I'm telling you right now, he played very well against the power players in general. When he had to face up against power, pure power, I think he absorbed it very well with, again, hands and then just kind of his anchor, reestablish right there. You see, he takes over it. He bends over just a little bit, but he keeps his feet under him. I'd like to see him do the two hop a little bit more. That really helps you reestablish against that power. But again, initially, left hand comes through, but the right hand comes when he realizes the pass rushers are trying to go right through him. So, he's going to take his feet, pop them in the ground right there. And then when he tries to extend, that's where he's in a better position. But you do see a little bit of lean, right? You see a little bit of lean. He can be a little top heavy at times. That can be, again, corrected. But I think overall what you see against the power players is when he's got his hands and he's relocating, he's absorbing power. He's a pretty damn good tackle. So all in all, I'm worried about some of the soft shoulder things. That's what we saw in Kansas City this past year was a big problem, is that they did have some of those come to fruition against better pass rushers. Trey Hendrickson rings a bell. A lot of those guys that were able to win off the edge, things like that will still probably hinder him as right now. Expect him to get better going forward. Again, he has some experience. He's going to help right now in the run game, in their zone, their outside zone scheme, to get back to that a little bit. There are some things he does well against the power players, absorbing power. And then again, hand usage is hard to teach. He already has all of that. He can reconnect, reestablish himself. So I think that the groundwork is there for him to be a pretty good tackle. Don't expect him to come in and be an elite guy. There's still a lot of work to do. Again, former fifth round pick, and he's not had a lot of experience. So there's going to be another just kind of work in progress. So we're going to see. I'm excited about the potential of him being better. All we can hope right now is that they work with him this offseason to keep those feet a little bit more sped up and not continue to create that soft shoulder getting into the pass protection stuff. So all in all, I think that this is a good move. It's a solid move. It's not an uber expensive one either. So this is a good option for the Chiefs in 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You learned a lot about Jaylon Moore, because getting into tape like that is always fun for me, and I like to learn more about any player that we absolutely can. So if you guys are new, again, please, I hope you hit that sub button. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please keep coming back. We've got more videos, more content for you every day. For the off-season changes from time to time, but overall, we're going to keep you guys as updated as we can as the offseason, the free agency into the draft gets going. I hope you guys enjoy your day very much. I'll see